And welcome to the Awana Game Time Training video. This video can be used as a refresher if you haven't done games in a while and you just kind of want to remind yourself what it is that you'll be doing. And it's also an introductory training to what you will specifically be doing with Awana Game Time. It is a lot of fun and I'm glad that you're joining us. So hang on and let's get started. I like to start out with some expectations. So if you have signed up to volunteer for game time for the Awana season, this is what you're doing. You have an agreed upon group of dates called a session. And those are the sessions that you are expected to be there for. You are expected to have the games planned for that session. You are expected to gather the supplies on the night that you need them, whether that be go get a basketball, get a hula hoop, or whatever. Most of the supplies we'll have here at church. If you need a special supply, such as a parachute, or I don't know, maybe we need new dodgeballs or something of that sort, make sure you communicate that to me ahead of time. The more advance notice that we have, the better deal that we can get on a price, and that just helps save some stress on everybody's part. And then the last thing that you need to do is clean up the game supplies after the last group. After the last group in the gym, there will be free play. So you're not required to clean up the gym. You're just required to put away the supplies that we used for the game time, if there were any game time supplies that were used. The other expectation, as much as possible, make sure that you utilize the time of worship. Try not to use that as a time to set up, although I do understand sometimes work, you're running late, and so you may not catch all of worship, but it's a great opportunity to get your heart and mind calmed and focused on the Lord before you go out and try to serve Him. We don't want to be serving in the hurry of the leftover of the day, so try to make sure that you're able to enjoy worship as well. We mentioned making sure that you're in there for worship. So here's our nightly schedule. We have different schedules based upon what's going on for the evening, but this is our main schedule that we will do from week to week. You can see starting at 6:30, that is when all Wednesday night activities start. Everyone, minus the Puggles Club, will be in the sanctuary. During the sanctuary, children are encouraged to sit with their family or who brought them. However, if they're on their own for whatever reason, such as like mom and dad dropped them off at church and didn't stay, and they have no adult figure with them, we want to encourage them to come and sit with an Awana volunteer. This does a couple of things. Number one, it helps keeps kids focused and out of trouble, because when they're not focused, when they're bored, that's when Satan can give some good ideas that all of a sudden seem brilliant when in reality they're not. It also gives the kids an opportunity to experience worship with an adult that maybe is not their mom or dad, to see, well, what do we do during worship? Why do we raise our hands? Why do we pray? Why do I have to be quiet when we pray? This is a good opportunity for them to just participate with someone, and believe it or not, it's relationship building. I will point out that yes, there are times on our schedule here, but worship might get over at 6:45, and if it does, then that shifts our schedule about 5 minutes. It may also be that worship doesn't get over until 6:55 for whatever reason, and that shifts our schedule about 15 minutes. Each group will have an egg timer that when the kids get in the room, you set it for 15 minutes, you go, and then we rotate. If we do that, we should all be roughly at about the same time to be switching, and can kind of see when to wrap things up and things of that nature. So know that yes, there are times, but the only times that are really hard and fast are 6:30 and 7:40, and we'll explain that more as we go through. So the first group that would come to the gym would be the Sparks group. They leave the sanctuary after worship, they go directly to the gym, and they will follow the directions that you give, whether that be clean up the gym, sit on the white line, whatever. Make sure that you have something that you want them to do when they enter the gym. Currently on Sundays, They enter the gym, they clean up the gym, and then they sit on the white line for directions for the game. You can give them any directions that you would like to. 15 minutes, you play with the sparks. Drinks, restroom, that kind of thing are all right available in the hallway. One at a time would be recommended, but you can use your best judgment. From there, the next group that will enter to play will be the TNT group. This is that 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, and then you'll get your occasional 6th graders in there as well. They'll come in and they will play their game for 15 minutes, and then from there, your last group is the Cubbies group. This group will probably not take 15 minutes to play a game, which is totally fine. When they're finished with their game in the gym, then they are released and they may go play in the gym area as we wait for pickup, as all kids, minus Puggles, are picked up in the gym after service. The time for the last dismissal of the Cubbies says 7:40. But the reality is this. At 7:30, a lot of our kids every other night of the week are starting to get ready for bed. They're tired after a long day, and they're done. So if at 7:30 your Cubbies group is done, they can go play. At 7:30, the large group time in the clubhouse and the book time might be winding down as well. They may go into the gym to play as well, to have free time. If they come in and the Cubbies are still in the midst of their organized game time and they're still playing and having fun, but other kids come in to have free time, just instruct them where they can go so that they're not disrupting the game time. Or that might be a good time for a dismissal anyways. But being done at 7:30 allows the kids to have about 15 minutes of playtime before they get picked up to go home. However, if everybody is still focused and doing their activities, they can go all the way up until 7:40. At 7:40, we try to wrap things up and make sure that everything is shut down so that kids can have a few minutes to relax with their friends before they go home for the night. We have so many different children from so many different backgrounds. Some kids come from a background where they're in church every time the doors are open, and some kids only come on occasion, and some kids don't even live with mom and dad. So you get such a wide variety of behaviors just based on what kids are taught at home and at school and different things. So we want to be clear about what our expectations are. Here at church, we're not school, so we're not all going to come and sit down and line up and be quiet, and that would be great in a perfect world, but that is just not where we live. So the principles that we're going to use to guide our behavior expectations are God, and yes, that does spell God, because we want our principles, our rules, our expectations to point us back to the Lord. Because if we're just doing things because it irritates other people, or not doing things because it irritates other people, that's not bringing honor to the Lord. So our rules are to help teach us to look to Him. So number 1, G, give the speaker your attention. When you're giving direction for the games, it's expected that they're sitting quietly and they're listening. If they have a question, they can raise their hand and ask it at the end. No interrupting, because that's not giving the speaker your attention. O, only righteous words. These are words that encourage and uplift. They are not name calling, they are not tearing down, they are not discouraging words. We want to build a team and we want to encourage people. Our last expectation, D, is don't be a space invader. And this is a more fun way to say, hey, hands and feet to yourself. Sometimes kids don't realize that they're getting in other people's personal bubbles, and sometimes they do, and they enjoy that they're doing that. So we just want to remind them, hey, don't be a space invader. If they are doing something that does not deviate from one of those 3 things, so give the speaker your attention, only righteous words, don't be a space invader, we're going to try to let it go. If they're bothering or annoying someone with their words, well, that's probably not using righteous words. If they're interrupting or not paying attention when directions are being given, then they're not giving the speaker their attention. If they're sitting too close or they keep touching other people, that would be the don't be a space invader. Most things are going to fall under those three categories. And if they don't, we're just going to give some grace, try to use some humor, and move on from there. Here are some things that you want to make sure that you do as you plan for game time and as you are participating in game time. Number one, you want to pray with the kids before game time. Awana is all about incorporating prayer and the Bible into each section. So into worship, into large group time, into Bible time, and into game time. Bible and large group time, that's a lot easier. Game time, you have to be a little more creative. So one great way to do that is have the kids circle up and have them pray over their game time, that they would have good attitudes, that they'd be safe, that they'd have fun. Because the reality is, the way that they play and treat each other can bring honor to the Lord. It can make Jesus smile in the way that they are just going out and being kids and having fun. So we want to remember to pray. We want them to have fun, and we want them to get energy out. So I'm going to plan games that I know they're going to enjoy. If we play a game and it's a flop, I'm probably not going to plan that one again. They enjoy games that build teamwork. Competition amongst the groups is fine in the older groups. But in the younger ones especially, games that they can work together, or games that they can get out but then get right back in, such as tag or something like that. Always have a backup plan. If you have a game that flops and you've got 10 minutes left to go, have a backup plan. What could they do instead? And then give some thought as to what would you do for a behavioral redirection. If someone is not giving the speaker their attention, do you want to have them sit on the white line so that they can listen while everyone else is playing and then rejoin the group? What are some things that seem appropriate for game time? If you have a question about that, you can see the video on classroom management, and you can also talk to me about some specifics as well. Here are some things that are going to save you some headaches. Do not do these for game time. Don't plan complicated or elaborate games. The more simple, the better. Duck, Duck, Goose. You can make almost anything into tag, and they love that. The purpose is to get them to run around, get some energy out. Tag is perfect. There are a bajillion different ways for them to play tag. Games that require a lot of props are not typically games that they really enjoy, or games with a lot of complicated rules, not really games that they enjoy. They want something simple, quick, and that they can move around, and something that is easy that everyone can participate in. Don't engage in a power struggle. If you've got a kiddo that is not meeting one of our three expectations, maybe they continue to be a space invader, and it's really becoming a problem. It's not just a nuisance or an annoyance. It's really a problem, and they're really causing a disturbance with other people. 3 strikes rule. So the first time you're going to talk to them, you're going to speak with them privately, explain to them the situation, remind them of the rules, and say, what can we do so that you can be successful? I don't want you to be a space invader. That's upsetting your friends. Sometimes there's a problem going on, and if you pull them off to the side and say, hey, is something upsetting you? Because I'm seeing a lot of this, they might open right up and tell you what's going on. If not, and the behavior continues, you're going to say, okay, well, we're going to need to go see Miss Melissa. As a children's pastor, I'm the heavy, and I get to do that kind of thing. So you're going to bring them to me. I might be in the clubhouse. I might also be in the sanctuary, but I would let you know where I will be during your sessions, so you'll know where to find me if something like this happens. And then the 3rd strike would be one that I handle that you don't have to handle. So you're going to do 1, pull aside. It's really being a problem, a disturbance, not just a, hey, you're being a space invader, and then they stop. That's not a strike. You're going to make sure that they know, hey, this is strike 1. Next time we're going to have to go see Miss Melissa. I hate to be the heavy, but That's part of what goes with the job. And they also have to understand that when we come to the clubhouse, we're going to encourage our friends and we're going to pay attention, we're going to have fun, but there are some guidelines with which we have to cooperate within, and if they don't do that, then they need to step away for a little while. Don't demand that the children do what you say. Invite them. This kind of goes back to that power struggle. So you very clearly laid out your expectations, give them a choice. Hey, don't be a space invader. You're touching them. Please don't be a space invader. They continue to do so. You pull them off to the side, you talk to them, and you tell them you can go play the game and not be a space invader, or you're going to sit on the white line. The choice is up to them. If they go and they're a space invader again, you're going to have to tell them, hey, you made the choice to be a space invader, so now you need to sit on the white line. But don't say, I told you to do this. That's demanding. And whenever we demand or force someone, all of a sudden that little rebel inside of all of us comes up and is like, oh, really? I don't think so. And then before you know it, you're in this great power struggle over something really, really silly and really, really small. So be clear in your expectations, use choices, invite them. But you know what? If a kid doesn't want to play the game and they want to sit, that's fine. The choice would be, okay, well, this is the activity that we're doing right now. You may sit on the white line. You may sit and do this. You may sit and watch. You may not be on your phone, but you may sit and watch if you don't want to participate. Make sure you're very clear in your expectations. Here are the next steps that you need to take. You'll receive a link to a shared Pinterest board that just has some game ideas. You do not have to use these games at all. You can totally come up with your own games. These are just a list of some games that some people have had success with, and just to get your brain thinking and going. The next thing, choose the next 7 games for the first session. The second session may only have 4 games. However many games you need to plan for your session, plan that many games and have a backup. So if you are scheduled for 4 nights, your session is 4 nights, schedule 5 games, have a backup. And as you plan those games and you require any extra supplies, or you realize that you do, let me know so I can get those ordered and taken care of for you. I do want to say thank you so much for being a part of Awana, for being a part of our game time. It is a highlight of the evening for the kids. They really enjoy the game time, and having an adult who is fun, takes the time to plan something that is fun for them and loves Jesus, it makes an eternal difference. So thank you so much.